Hey guys, so today I have this phone with me. It's the Vivo V70 that I got it from one of my friend just to test it out, how the camera performance is of this phone as compared to my S23 Ultra. Today we're gonna see how this Vivo V70 performs. Right now we're gonna be comparing the 50 megapixel cameras sensor that it has, all the three, two at the rear and one in the front, and then there is a telephoto lens which is an 8 megapixel lens. So we're gonna test out the AI features, we're gonna test out the portrait modes that the camera has with comparison to my S23 Ultra, and we're gonna be doing some street photography accordingly. And let's head on to the test and look at what exactly this phone holds up. Is it a flagship killer or not? We're gonna find it out eventually. Alright, now shifting to my POV mode. Talking about the looks, I really love the color. With this is an aluminum frame, aluminum built, and it feels pretty sturdy and luxurious, and it feels elegant in your hand. So I am in the parking lot right now and we're gonna test out the camera performance of it. We're gonna test out, let me open up the camera. So one best thing that Vivo has done with this phone is that instead of the 2x 3x cameras, this phone will actually show you the mm's, like millimeter, what millimeter lens is it. So if I tap over here, it shows 35 mm. If I tap on the 2x, it shows 46 mm. If I tap on the 3x, it shows 73 mm. And if I tap on the 10x, it shows 243 mm. So this way you can actually focus, get the right lens out of your phone instead of just going with 1x 2x 3x, which people generally do not get to know like what exactly lens they are on. By default your 1x lens is a 24 mm lens, and 3x is somewhere around 73 to 70 mm, and we can eventually go up to 85 mm. In the portrait mode, this feature comes as 23, 35, 50 mm, 85 mm and 100 mm, which is actually kind of a pretty crazy thing that Vivo has done right now. So right now I'm in one of the parking lots and we can see leading lines. So let's just follow the leading lines and try to capture some great images. I can see a little symmetry out here. This is on 1x and this is on 0.6x, kind of pretty wide. And along with it, we're gonna try with my S23 Ultra as well. I'm gonna take pose 1.6 at 1 and 0.6. I think the 0.6 lens of the S23 Ultra is pretty wide as compared to what I have it on the Vivo. And I'm kind of impressed. And right now, coming back to the Vivo, let's get to the 46 mm, or let's just get to the 10x zoom, and I can see the Burj Khalifa, pretty nice and sturdy. And let's just say I have clicked this one. So what it shows me right now, it's at 243 mm, and to my surprise, it is actually a pretty good quality. It's just straight out of the natural camera app. I'm not going into the pro mode of it. And when it comes to S23 Ultra, if I go in 10x zoom, this is how the camera performs. 10x, it's a 10x periscopic zoom lens, and I'm sure this is going to do much better than the Vivo because it is an actual 10x lens that is put into the camera, not something that would crop into a 50 megapixel and make it like a 10x. So this, the image clarity is definitely visible. I can see the difference from there itself. And if I try to shoot more, if I go 30, I can actually go 30, and this is around 313 mm approximately, as to what I can see. Is kind of doing some processing, and it did some processing and the photo has become a little soft. And coming back to my Vivo, in 10x now I'm going to 313, which is 13x. Oh my god, like they really have something going on here. By the way, they are partnered with Zeiss Optics, and these all effects are done from Zeiss. This phone actually has a separate image processing unit along with the CPU that it has. So yes, definitely there is something new that we can see over here happening with the photos. Then there is another 626 mm, which is a 25x zoom, which is equivalent to 20 zoom on the S23 Ultra. Let's take that picture. It's focusing. And is there another? No, those are all the modes that it has. And I mean, the details are gone technically, but the image sharpening of the objects is pretty commendable, I can say that. But definitely all the details are gone. There is no detail in the building. But one thing I like about is the lines are pretty sharp enough, as I see over here. So yeah, this is what is all about. Now I have a beautiful car that is over here in the center. Let me take a good photo of it with all the portrait modes. Let me go into the portrait mode. Right now I'm doing it in 55 mm, and I'm taking the background. This is what the photo is. Let's go into the 85 mm. Oh, that's a beautiful mode. Yeah, the background is amazing. And now going into the 100, which is not a drastic difference, but yeah. So if I go into the portrait mode, it's going to do a little processing with the image and put a beautiful blur behind. And if I see, yes, this is the 100x, kind of not too sharp, but yes, there is some AI stuff, software thing happening in the phone. This is at 100mm f5.6, which the phone automatically detects. This is at 85 mm. The background blur has come out pretty nice, and the edge detection, of course, it's a car, but on human it's going to be different. This is at 50 mm, and if I take at 35 mm, I'm going to have to go a little closer, and I'm going to take the foreground in the front, so that let's see if this phone is processing the foreground or not, because yeah, in flagships you do get that option. So right now if I take that foreground, and this is one of the photography concepts that you can do, as you see, yeah, it's closing on. Let me take another at 50, and I'm posing the car in the center. Now at 85. Oh damn, that's something going on over here. I'm gonna focus on the lights, and then at 100 mm. So I'm gonna take this logo, or maybe no, I think I'm gonna try keeping it over here at the top. Yeah, this is at 100x, so I have the foreground. Let's see if it is doing anything with the foreground or not. But yes, definitely at the 85 there is something happening here. Now let's just try with the S23 Ultra. In the portrait modes, it has 1x, 2x, which is apparently the one is at 24 mm. Yeah, I'm gonna focus here. The 2x is approximately 50, how it is doing, and then the 3x is around 75, 73 mm. Around 72 mm. Yes, that is the portrait mode. It's gonna process a little bit, and let's see what are the differences. One thing that is really cool about this phone is that they have partnered with Zeiss Optics, and they have put all their bokeh features in the portrait mode. So you can see there is natural bokeh, and you can actually set the bokeh, how much the f-stop for the bokeh and the background blur, how much you want it, from f0.95 up till f16. So that's 0.95 is really strong. Let's see if how it works. Right now I don't have any circles, the bokeh circles, what it there's nothing, no trees or certain direct light that is coming into the photo, which I can then produce these bokeh balls. But if we go into this cinematic mode, it kind of changes the resolution of the phone, and right now when I'm trying to look at it, it has become really cinematic. Of course the resolution is different, and this you can only use it in the horizontal mode, because in vertical the cinematic mode does not work. I mean, it is like this, so technically it will not work. But I'm in 50 right now, and if I click this photo and then I'll go in 85 mm, my bokeh is almost all the way, and at 100 I'll stoop down to the lowest possible and I click the photo. And also let me get down to the ground, which is pretty amazing. I'm very close to the car right now, so if I go a little far away and I'll take the shot. Let me just take the shot from here. I'm at 100x, 100 mm. Yeah, and let me go down to the ground, and I'm getting a really great composition out here. Yeah, so if I see, well, the cinematic mode has really done its great job. I mean, the image is quite pretty soft at 100 mm, and the bokeh also behind is little bit feels gimmicky though. But yeah, I mean, here at 50, 100 mm, it did not detect the car properly. At 85 it did, but yeah, it missed out on couple of spaces here. I think with the cinematic mode it kind of goes overboard at f0.9. I can even change the bokeh, you know, turn my bokeh off from here, so you know this is a boring image. And if I go here, I can definitely, you know, bring back the 0.5 bokehness in the picture. But here if I see the foreground, it's not been bokeh enough, or it's not been blurred at 50 mm. But yeah, all in all, the cinematic mode works pretty well. Also, the phone has pretty cool AI features. I'll go in the AI visuals over here. These are the AI modes. So there are periods, regions, depending on what desert, snow, island, whatever you do. Then there are season. Then there is little bit creativity in there if you want to make it an animation. So let's take this car over here, the parking lot, and let's create an animated photo here. One, and it'll start processing in the background. You can take 10 photos at the same time and then create. If I want to create a cyber look, let me go there and click. This is probably good for the nighttime, but let's see how it works in the daytime. At 50 itself, and wait, not here, but yeah, it'll start processing here. You can see the AI visuals, it's processing the AI. You need internet connection with it. So I'm gonna go back home and then these visuals will come out. I'll show you how the image processing it. But right now, let's see all the other modes. There is smart, there is a morning glow. I can set up, however, the sun is right somewhere over there. But if I want the sun to be right in front of me and the mountains, let me take that picture. Then there is clear sky, evening glow. I can get the evening glow right now. If let's make it a little complicated with the bridge, and let's keep it a little simple for them. I am taking this as a foreground so that the depth is shown in the photo. This is one of the way. I'll go in 23 mm, and now I think this would do much better. So now coming back to the S23 Ultra, I have already taken a lot of photos from the Vivo V70. Now let's get into a little more detailed shots of the car, and my first shot will be at 3x, going down, taking the shot of the vehicle, and there is foreground behind, going at 2x. Let's see how it does. That's more like it. Now taking the same shot, standing at the same distance, I'm at 0.5. I'm gonna make it a little at 2, because at 0.5 it's gonna just not detect the subject right. At 2, at 35 mm, at 50 mm, because I love wheels. At 85 mm, that's getting really close, closer than my S23 Ultra. And at 100, so this is straight into the wheels. So for 100 I have to actually go back a little, right, I think right about there, and again I'm shifting it to 2. Alright, so that was pretty much about in the field what the camera has performed and how the photos have been taken. Right now it's time to go back to the studio and check out the photos from both the phones. So see you in the studio. Alright guys, so I'm back in my studio, and while I was going through the photos from both the phones, what I observed was Vivo V70 did click amazing and good pictures, but Right now I do not have the phone because I had to give it away, and I'm recording this after 2-3 days while I was going through the photos. So few things that I observed was that right off the bat, if you take photos from Vivo, it captures in 12 MP. So if you want to capture those photos from the 50 MP camera of it, you have to go into the extra feature, which is a higher resolution mode that it has in the phone itself. So this is something that you should consider while capturing the photos from that phone. The other thing that what I observed was the ultra wide camera is okay, is it's not at par to what MP cameras are currently coming in different phones of the same segment. And the Vivo V70 comes at 8 MP, whereas the others have a 12 MP camera, ultra wide camera these days in the same price range. So that is something you can consider, while if you are not a fan of too much details in the wide angle. But yes, if you don't zoom it, the photos are nice. So when I was going through the photos, if you see in this one, the clarity is not great. There are not much details that got captured, and the photo is almost too sharpened and pixelated. So that is something which I observed. And as compared to the Samsung S23 Ultra, which has a 12 MP camera, 12 MP ultra wide camera, it captured good details without too much of the processing though. Even though there are less details, but yeah, it is kind of feels natural. When using the portrait mode on the phone, on Vivo V70, yes, it produces amazing bokeh and a good background and subject separation you can observe over here. But one thing you wanna check is while you are in a 100 mm lens mode, and if your f-stop where the bokeh, where you can change the bokeh blur of the photo, you should keep it at f2 or above. So if you keep it at 0.95, the bokeh behind the images can get gimmicky. If you see in this photo of the car, on the left bumper, you can see there is some digital bokeh, uh, digitally processed bokeh that is happening, and also the blur in the background feels very unnatural. So it's kind of, the image is processed digitally, the blur is added digitally. So that is where something, kind of the phone struggles to detect the subject and create that blur in the, the separation, the background and the subject separation in the photo. So if you keep it above 2, the phone does a really great job at capturing that blur in the background. So right off the bat, the phone is amazing. The photos come really nice if you just want to upload the photos straight to the social media and not kind of edit too much. And that was my comparison that I did with the S23 Ultra. What are your thoughts about it, guys? So share your thoughts in the comment section on what do you think, how did Vivo V70 perform. All right, until then, see you.